rock and roll.
Well, hello and welcome to the Daily Atheist Morning Show. I am your host, the amazing Super Chris Mallard. Thank you for joining me today. It's going to be an interesting day. It's just going to be me today. I'm looking forward to it. You know, no offense to Ryan or anybody else, but it's been a while since I've kind of just ridden solo off into the sunset. So we're going to be riding solo off into the sunset today, or not, but we're going to be doing it together. So we're going to be talking about Jesus and slavery and that sort of business of the slavery of Christianity, as it were, but also about the book of Mark. Somebody encouraged me to go study the book of Mark. I've been looking into the book of Mark. I found it interesting. We'll be back in a minute. All right. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us. I'm sitting here. I got a report. We're not showing up on TikTok. Oh, yeah. My face is not showing up on the TikToks. Let me see pourquoi real quick, my friends, if you don't mind. While we figure that out, Vertical Studio A, blinky. Why for, wherefore, properties. Let's see here. Why is it not working? Okay. Transform. There we go. That is not working either. Let me go here and just see if that helps. My friends, sorry about that. Is it resetting? I don't know why my TikTok ain't working. So that must mean all my vertical folk ain't working. They're not getting stuff. Let's see. Is that right on the other vertical too? Man, what a way to start the show. Okay. Hello, Austin Sims, Afghan Sheikh. Good morning. Homeless tramp chic. That's right. That's good. I dig it. That's kind of cute. Good morning, David Thomas. Thank you for joining us. Everybody, I appreciate your patience as I try to figure out what the hell is going on. I'm gonna just turn on a banner here and see if do my camera show up on the banner. Oh, I know what's wrong. Another tech gremlin slain here before your very eyes. Good morning, everyone, even the people on TikTok. I hope you're having a great day. The evil one, my wife, was the one who notified me that wasn't working. I disappeared, sister. Yes, I disappeared. I had to work some magic in the background. Mini Baba, good morning. Beam me up, Bob. Thank you for joining us. Axel Ignite, it's been a day or three. I hope you're doing okay. And then, of course, there's, let's see, Afghan Sheikh Pash. Good morning. No Kelly today. Kelly only shows up on Tuesdays. He's only here on Tuesdays normally. And then Ryan, she used to be here all week, and now she's only going to be here Mondays and Thursdays because her schedule has changed. I mean, I gotta say, man, she has. This is just a show. I mean, it's like me going, hey, man, you ain't working at this time of the day, are you? Well, come sit with me for 2 hours a day. That's really all it is. I mean, and for a year and a half, she has just been fantastic and sit here every day. I'm surprised she's been able to do this long. So I'm grateful. Alwise. Cool name. Alwise 13. Thank you for joining us this morning. Let me catch up. I thought I saw other names up there. David Thomas. Yes, I saw you. Oh, Miss Non Sequitur. Good morning. Thank you for joining us. No sound on the commercial. Yes. Now, if you're watching on TikTok, there will be no sound on the commercials because the TikTok sees my commercial and realizes it's also on YouTube and will limit my stream. So I have to silence them. Just kind of, it's unfortunate. I know. Let me see. Comments are off. Why are comments off? These comments are off. YouTube sound for it either. I have to check it out. See what's going on. Well, there's a lot. There is a lot. Reload. Why are my comments off? I guess I may have gotten smited by the... Oh, there we go. There we go. I just had to refresh the page. Bless it. Pray over Jedi Mind Trick. There we go. Chris is back. No. Okay. Yes. Thank you all. I appreciate your patience. Thank you for joining me today. Yes. I love the hamburgers, Dave. So Miss Non Sequitur is indeed everywhere. So thank you all for liking, sharing, blessing, praying over Jedi Mind Trick, that sort of thing on the stream. I appreciate you very much. Now we did have our friend of the show, Dairy Fiend, was here yesterday and recommended, I always want to argue with Dairy Fiend. Maybe for some reason, and I could be wrong, for some reason, I wish they were here now. It always kind of comes off as if Dairy Fiend is selling me the religion. At first, I'm like, what the fuck, man? Whose side are you on? And I don't know why we get into that every time. Maybe it's just, I don't know. We'll see. But I took his advice, and I have been reading the book of Mark. I'm 3.5 chapters into it. You know, I started yesterday while I was doing other stuff. I say after doing other stuff. I did actually focus my attention upon it. I made copious notes, in fact. And we'll see how that goes. Good morning, Flocky. Thank you for joining us. Hope you're having a great week so far. It's Wednesday. Is it really already? Yeah, look at that. Already Wednesday. Time's fun when you're having flies. David says, you are a slave to your secular humanism. Clueless. Yeah, you know, that's interesting. It's a perspective I guess you might think of, David. Yeah, I don't really think so. Secular humanism is really kind of, again, I go over this again, how we treat other people. It's just about how you treat other people. It's not, you know. But are you a sheep, David? Are you a sheep to Jesus? Are you a slave? Come on, man. Are you a sheep? Tell me you're a sheep. No, don't deny Jesus now. Don't you dare deny Jesus. Are you, clearly, you know you're a slave to Jesus. It's just one huge, I don't know, authoritarian regime in the sky. Oh, hey. Good morning, Brian. Thank you for joining. She's in the chat. Atheist Mechanic says, I deny Jesus, that hack. Here's the deal. This is one of the things that I feel, and this is just depending on how seriously you take your faith. The words of your book. If you're a Christian who used to be an atheist, which I kind of often have my doubts, I just want you to know that the only unforgivable sin is hurting a child. Oh, wait, no. The only unforgivable sin is murder. No, that's not it. The only unforgivable sin is no, that's not it either. The only unforgivable sin is blaspheming against the Holy Spirit. That's unforgivable. And if you've ever done it, apparently, because it's unforgivable, that sin cannot be washed away from you. So if years ago, you thought you were an atheist and you said, damn you, Jesus, blaspheme the Holy Spirit, you're fucked, dude. You're fucked now and forever. You may as well give it up. Stop tithing. Stop going to church. Get ready for hell. Go get fitted for some horns, because it is over for you. Done. D-U-N, done. Go to hell. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. And you may not even remember it. You might not even remember. Maybe sometime you were just, 18, you was getting stupid. But hey, that's unforgivable sin. Now, if you would like, because that's the kind of gal I am, I can actually bring you up the scripture. Yeah, let's see. Unforgivable. Let's see if I can find that. Control F. Unforgivable. There it is. Mark 3:28 and 29. Truly, I tell you, people can be forgiven all their sins and every slander they utter. Every one of them. But whoever blasphemes against the Holy Spirit will never be forgiven. These are the words of Jesus, not the words of, somebody else. Jesus. Jesus. Where was I? I was ranting. Will never be forgiven. They are guilty of an eternal sin. All those other horrific things I listed off, those are not worthy of a horrific of an eternal sin. Blaspheming the Holy Spirit is worthy of of an eternal sin. And that's why, my friends, you can tell the difference in morality between theists, Christians, and secular people. You know, I mean, whatever their God says is good, and look at what it says is good. Or look at what it at least says is bad. You can do anything except this one thing and get away with it. Be forgiven. That's not terribly objective. I guess, yeah, they'll have to work that on their own. Yeah, there's a lot now. Again, I'm not very far into Mark, the book of Mark. Just a couple of inches. Bad joke. I'm not very far into the book of Mark, but already I've got notes. Now, I realize that our friend Dairy Fiend wanted me to kind of read it with a respect for like the literature aspect of it, perhaps. And I kind of, he'll be here. He'll roll up. But I can't help but be a skeptic, you know, bring the skeptical eye that I always bring to all of it, really. And one of the things I've noticed in this book, and I've got it here in my notes, is that now we're only 3 chapters in, but everywhere Jesus goes, people, he's out at by the lake, and all the people from the countryside come to watch him do his miracles. All the people of Jerusalem and the surrounding towns, it says. Now, we know it's hyperbole. We know it means a great many of the people, not obviously every single human being from all of those towns, but obviously a great number of them came to see Jesus. And yet nobody wrote it down. Not a single person. Now, that was just one instance, right? I mean, but no, wait, it wasn't just one instance. I'm only three and a half chapters into it, and it's like 4 or 5 times Jesus has been out in front of huge crowds healing people, and then doing things like telling them. At one point, he tells them, "Don't tell anybody that I've healed you." Why would you do that? But then again, all this time, all these people. Several times in front of a lake, outside of a city, inside of a city. There was so many people, allegedly, and this I find to be ridiculous. I'll give you the scripture if you want. So many people crowded around because Jesus was in one of these houses and talking, I guess. And so many people were crowded around that these people who were bringing a paralyzed man to be healed could not get through the crowd. So much so that obviously it made more sense, rather than to, somehow get through the crowd, to climb up on top of the roof, cut a hole in the ceiling, and lower the paralyzed man down into the house. That makes so much more sense. And then Jesus forgives this man's sins. He didn't heal him. He forgives his sins. Right there. Your sins are forgiven. But wait, God had to give his only begotten son to forgive us our sins. Jesus does it over and over again with nothing. He says it's so easy. It would be so much easier to forgive this man's sin than it would be to have him get up and walk. So he forgives his sins. And then, because of the doubters, these other people in the room, then he heals the man who rolls up his mat and gets up and walks. And nobody writes all this shit down. Nobody writes it. Nobody. There's no contemporary person who writes the book of Steve. Hey, man, I was down at this place the other day, and guess what? Over and over again so far in the book of Mark. At one point, he's down at I think it's Galilee or a lake. I don't remember which lake, probably, I don't know, Sea of Galilee. There's another name for it that has the word lake. And anyway, he was down near a body of water, and the people gathered around him so much so that he had his homies get a boat. And it's right there ready for him in case he's got to flee, because they're pressing so hard against him. And then, bear with me while I get this up. And then... oh man, I made a lot of notes. I don't know. Oh yeah, pushing forward to touch him. All right, so Mark, let me just bring this over here so I can eyeball you folk while I read this. It says, Mark 3:7-10 says, Jesus was so crowded by the lake that he had a boat standing by as they were pushing forward to touch him. Verse 10. Then verse 11 says, impure spirits saw him, cried out, you are the Son of God. And then Jesus says he gave them strict instructions to not tell others about him. So nobody of all the pressing people around them saw this person or people who were possessed by these demons scream out, you are the Son of God. Nobody saw that because he told them not to tell anybody about it. And then the person who wasn't there, removed by at least 60 years, wrote about it so they could tell us about the spirits who were there, who freaked out and confessed that this is the Son of God, and yet nobody else saw them. That's fascinating stuff. Yeah, so let me get to my chat here. What's going on with my people? Good morning, everybody. I'm catch up. I've been ranting today. Or we move, we know you're bluffing. Oh, is somebody in the chat? We have somebody. Oh, Atheist McKinney got a plan to prevent it. All right, you guys got apparently something going on. I have been missing it, so we'll just see what's going on. Yeah, David, one of us is too stupid. One of us is too stupid. Maybe you should go read your own book. Mark has no nativity story and was written 30 years after Jesus' death. Hey, at least 30 years, and none of them were written, even if they did have a narrative. Oh, this one was written 70 years after Jesus' death, but it's got a nativity story. No, it doesn't really work like that. No, they were all written well. I mean, a generation at least and a half after Jesus allegedly lived. All the people who were alive when Jesus was alive were adults at the time, right? So they wouldn't have made it. I mean, it's just crazy to think. Hey, Evan, how are you doing? It's been a day or three. Thank you for the super chat. Vincent DeVecchi. I hope I said that right. Vincent DeVecchi. Yeah, I did that. My Italian studies have helped. Genuine question, why is it always Christianity you seem hostility for? Have you ever criticized the other religions that love the show? Hey, Vincent, thank you very much for the $5 super chat. Yes, I do criticize other religions. You'll actually find a video I'm dropping today. I'm arguing with a Muslim about stuff. However, normally we don't take that on as a topic of the show. And the reason, Islam, and the reason why is because, man, Islam, I mean, there are Muslims near us, I guess, somewhere. I don't really see them very often. They're over in the Middle East. They're far away. The Christian nationalists are right here, brother, right here, up our ass, in our grill, forcing their religion on us, forcing their religion on our children in schools, forcing our religion through the Supreme Court and the anti-abortion bullshit. All that Christianity is just being forced. Donald Trump, he has created the Department of Anti-Christian Bias. Donald Trump is using Christianity against the entire country to turn it over and use it. So, yeah, I mean, I'm not really fond of Islam and all that business. I have my reasons. I have much to learn, but I have my reasons. But that's why we really, most of the time, unless a Muslim caller calls, we most of the time deal with Christianity. I mean, it really is. It's right here up our grill, you know. I hope that was a good answer. Paul is here, and thank you for the super chat. We appreciate it. Let's see, Paul Belisarius. I dig it. I haven't read what you've got to say, but I dig the name. I'm old. If it's in the Bible, it's either permissible or it's not. Follow the words, adhere to the laws, and God will recognize his own, and it's just that simple, really. Fantastic, Belisarius. I love that. That is wonderful. It's wonderful that if it's in the Bible, it's either permitted or not. And fortunately for us, the Bible has no contradictions. Let me give you a list. What I'm gonna do for you, my friend, my new friend to the channel, I don't recognize your name. Let me give you a link where you can go to a website and you can find just so many contradictions. Just crazy. I mean, you cannot follow all the laws and rules. But matter of fact, if you followed all the laws and rules of the Bible, I mean, you probably think it's just the Ten Commandments, but it's really not. It's not the Ten Commandments. The people were up to the Mount Sinai with Moses and all that business, and God came down and says, "These are the commandments, 1, 2, 3, 4, 9, 10." And then the narrative says, the people became scared and backed away from the mountain. And God goes, 11, 12, 13, 50, 65, 75, 85, 500, 618 total laws, including destroy your neighbor if he doesn't worship the way you worship. I mean, there are a lot of things, but you couldn't keep up all of those things. Jesus, actually, in one of his parables here, is kind of talking about, and Mark is talking about how there are Jewish laws, and he even tells people to go fulfill that law. He heals this leper, and then obviously for some reason tells the leper not to tell anybody, and the leper does. I don't know why, but he heals this leper. And damn it, I forgot what my point's gonna be. Son of a bitch, I was ranting. I'll get back to it. I got the okay, got you. His pastor told him he doesn't have to be. Thanks for having me. Gotcha. Let me just say, one fuck up troll enters chat and tries to make it all about himself. Yeah, yeah. Well, part of the deal is that's, part of the, I guess some people enjoy dealing with the trolls. Oh yes. All right. So the conflicts, I forgot to post a link of conflicts. So yeah, you would not be, I'm going back to Belisarius here. You would not be able to follow all the laws without ending up in prison. I mean, I'm just saying, there's a link. Go look at that link, and I'm going to share this page with you because I'm a generous and kind soul. And here we go. Let's look at this up on the screen. There we go. See all these contradictions? This is the New Testament over here, my friends. Oh, on the far right, you see all these little orange ones on the right? That's the New Testament over here. And that's just the conflicts between the New Testament and the Old Testament. Then when you scroll down here, you can see all the scientific absurdities in the New Testament, or the Bible. Here's the Old Testament over here on the right, and then on the left, then on the right, you got the New Testament. Cruelty and violence, my friend, in the Old Testament. And look, the New Testament has cruelty and violence as well. Misogyny, violence, and discrimination against women, all up in the New Testament's grill. Look at that shit. Discrimination against homosexuals, Old Testament, New Testament. It's a really cool thing. But in your case, it's the conflicts I think you're going to find most fascinating, because it's damn now impossible for you to follow all of the laws of your religion. And who determines which one is which one's good, which one's to keep? Call, right? Vincent Divisive for $10 says fair, but if you democratically elect an atheist, you think and expect he would make laws according to his morals. What he thinks is right, that would make sense. Wouldn't that be forcing his morals on others that disagree? Well, here's the deal. That's part of the thing. Whenever you look around the world, that's what you get. The laws are just people enforcing their sets of morals on other people. You can kind of blame it on atheists, but I mean, that's really bringing civility. It's one thing to bring civility and order to society. It's another thing to intentionally force your religious beliefs on someone else, to teach someone else's fucking children that your God is the God and that they're going to burn in hell for eternity if they don't worship that God. It's not the fucking same. And don't even act like it is. It's ignorant for you to pretend it's the same. And just by the way, if you compare the secular humanism moral standards, just go read about them. Just read them and see how people who follow those act compared to how your Bible tells people to act. Do not murder. That's a good one. And the very next chapter, it tells the God tells his people to go annihilate an entire people. Kill them all, man, woman, and child. That's not murder, though. Don't you know what murder means? Thank you for the super chat. I do rant. Let's see. Let's see here. Ideally, democratically elected means a majority of people. That is true. And I really think whenever you go find the more secular societies, Japan, Sweden, those kinds of places, you'll find they're very well ordered, just good places. Yeah. It's the places where religious fundamentalism has a really strong hold, where other people really start being oppressed and hurt and stuff like that, whether it be from the Middle East to the South in the United States and burning crosses in people's yards. Thank you for the super chat, by the way, Vincent. Yeah. I get excited. I'm trying to learn to rein it in a little bit, you know? So thank you all for your comments. Japan is extremely safe, almost 0% Christian. Thank you, Matthew. I appreciate it. That's kind of the point. The more fundamentally religious the place is, the more likely they are to be violent and oppressive. That's just, you can argue that, but that'd be kind of hard to defend. Japan has massive suicide, mental illness problems. Are they related? Now, they do have some problems. That is very true. Are you think they're specifically related because they don't have religion? We can say that there is a statistical relationship between countries that have religion and countries that have violence and all that other business. Especially religious violence, obviously. Yeah, it's part of it, and really, to be honest, part of Japan's problems right now, I think, are because of their traditions, things that have, kind of harmed their way of. But I don't know enough about it. Really, I shouldn't speak. I don't know enough about what their thing is, and they may be fascist of a fashion. Well, we certainly know they were imperial. I mean, at one point, when was the last time someone burned a cross in a yard in the South? Come on now, I don't really know. I don't know. When was the last? My understanding is they don't even call it a cross burning anymore. They call it a cross lighting because that sounds better. Now, they have found several African-American gentlemen hanging in trees in the South, Louisiana, Mississippi over the past year. But no, burning crosses. So. Well, but I don't know when it was because it's kind of hard to tell, really, assuming they were even. Let's see. Cross burnings in the South used for intimidation still occur sporadically, with a notable recent federal hate crime conviction for a December 2020 cross burning in Mississippi, while large public Ku Klux Klan rallies have declined. Why? Because now they're all in fucking ice now. So individuals continue to use cross burning to target black families, with cases reported in the South as recently as 2021. Don't believe me? Go look that shit up on your own. I found it first. You go find it next. Let's see. Having relationships with imaginary friends is nuts. You can have it is nuts, but you can have as many relationships with imaginary friends as you want until you start voting based on what those imaginary friends want. Right? So, all the research shows secular societies outscore religious ones in every single measure of human well-being. That's really kind of the thing, isn't it? Human well-being. That's the measure. Where whenever we talk about morality, we as secular humanists we're focused on the well-being of what's the best for the well-being of the people, the person, the group, whatever, of everybody, the well-being. That's not really the case with divine command theory. Divine command theory does not give a shit about well-being of anybody. It doesn't matter. That's a sin. God says it's a sin. You need to burn in hell. Period. There's not a lot of. How are those even remotely the same as far as, they're both called, I guess, forms of morality, schemes, templates, if you will. But other than that, they both use the same words, but they're very much not alike. The God of the Bible seems to reflect the same kind of harsh, violent values found in the people of that time. Yeah, that does sound, I agree. Plus, in Japan, suicide doesn't come with religious baggage and is somewhat part of their tradition. Yeah, that's why there's so many things about what happens in Japan and what's going on over there. I can't, it would be, I don't know enough about their culture to speak to it. I do know that I don't believe they are related, obviously, though. But we can obviously tell that, well, they have had religious violence in Japan. The Moonies, I believe they were called. Weren't they called the Moonies in Japan? Oh, yeah. They were wonderful, peaceful, peace-loving people who, oh, wait a second. That's right. No, they didn't. They released, sarin gas on a fucking train and killed I don't know how many people, a lot of their own people. But that's religion for you, right? Morals. How do I, with secular humanism, manage to find morals without an objective? Well, they found their morals from some objective source, and look what happened to them. We're servants of the God Jesus, says M. Badger. Yeah, see? Slaves. Do you not like the word slaves? You can say the word slave. Can you say the word slave? You can say it. You can say it. Come on, be big. I mean, if you already admit you're a sheep, it's like a bootlicker. Just admit it. My stance is I know literally Jack and shit about Japan, and Jack left town. Way to go, the happy heritage. Daryl, so the Lord was with Joshua and his triumph was heard throughout the land. Joshua 6:27. See, Joshua, son of Nun, was a biker dude. First of all, Daryl, I don't know if you're new to the show. I don't recognize the name since they changed the things. I don't know. But I appreciate the fact that not only did you post the scripture, you posted the actual scripture. Oftentimes, people, theists generally, will come in here and go, Mark 3:18. And they expect me to just shut down my show. Oh, I'm sorry. Did you post a scripture? Let me run and check that out right now in the middle of my show. No, I don't do that. I'll even tell them, listen, if you want me to even bother with it, you need to put the whole thing. So at least you did. So the Lord was with Joshua and his triumph. His triumph. It took me that long. I had to read it a second time before I got his triumph. Was a motorcycle. Was heard throughout the land. It was very loud. It's like potato, 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 potato. That's good shit. I appreciate that. Thank you, Daryl. Paul says, wasn't the Moonies South Korea? Maybe they were. That was it. So that may have been. Ooh, that's a good example. Let's see. Didn't they have? Let's see. I thought it was in Japan though. Attack. Yeah. On March 20th, 1995, members of the Aum Shinriko cult. Sorry, I had the wrong cult. 1,000 apologies, Moonies. I'm sorry if I involve Moonies if you're watching. 1,000 apologies. Released sarin nerve gas on the Tokyo subway system during rush hour, killing 14 and injuring thousands. The coordinated multi-line attack caused massive panic and exposed Japan to domestic chemical terrorism. The cult's leader, Shoko Ashara, and key members were later executed. We just don't hear a lot of news articles about the religion, people of the religion of peace. I mean, there's so much violence. There's so much in the name of this creature that they can't even prove exists. And not even these guys here. They don't even believe in your God, that Christian people's gods. It's just a whole deal of where people can detach from reality. My friends, if anybody tells you need to start killing folk for some kind of God, whatever God, you just say no. Jim Jones, yeah, Kool-Aid. Now, for those of you who don't really know, thank you, Paul, for letting me off. If you're talking to me, I appreciate you. For those of you who don't know, not everybody who died with Jim Jones drank the Kool-Aid. Did you know that? Not all of them drank the Kool-Aid. Some of them refused to drink the Kool-Aid. But he had those loyalists there with AK-47s to mow down the ones who were unwilling to drink the Kool-Aid. They also killed was it a U.S. senator and his pilot? And I think they did a lot of killing because, Christians. Then tell Christians to stop being so hateful. That's right. I was wanting to make it a side business. I was like, I see, guys, what's going on? Bum. Stop hating on Christianity. Did you just get here, my friend? I'm just saying. Wasn't the Moonies? Yeah, you're right. Thank you, John. I see that I stand corrected. Well, it was, yeah, well, but it was in Japan. It wasn't the Moonies, but it was in Japan. So there is that. Thank you for Vincent again for a $20 super chat. Okay. Let me see what this says. Why is this? Oh, here it is. Actually, Ulmer and Harris, 2013, Johnson and Lang review, and many studies show that societies having higher practicing Christians show lower violence, and secular societies follow most more Christian morals. I would actually disagree, and I see that as an appeal to authority fallacy, actually, because Ulmer and Harris said it, then it must be true. Really, I think you should go look at other studies. And which Harris are we talking about? Is it supposed to be like Sam Harris? Anyway, I would very much doubt it. We have a lot of history of examples of Christians being oppressive, their entire society being oppressive, whether it be the Catholics throughout all of Catholicism, almost the Protestants, the Catholic Reformation. I mean, it's hard to really find some society that was seriously benefited compared to the way societies that are non-religious, you know. Yeah, Japan is deeply spiritual. They are. They have their spiritual side. See, again, I actually said that was, maybe we should get somebody from Japan here to speak to it. But it is certain that you can go look it up. Of course, I always say don't trust me on the internet. And Mr. Vincent, I appreciate that. Don't trust me on the internet. Go look it up somewhere else besides there. Because, I mean, look at Christianity everywhere it goes. Everywhere. Whenever the Pilgrims first came to the United States, the first violence was Christians on Christians. I mean, you just don't trust me. Just go look this shit up yourself. They're always oppressing people. It doesn't have to necessarily be violence either. It's whenever we live in your land and you make us live by your rules. And that's what Christians like to do. They do it here. They do it right here in the United States. And it's supposed to be a secular nation. Yeah, there's so much Christian influence and power and money and all that other business that they're doing all they can to force it on us. In this study we said we did, but we didn't actually do, we found the religion that we are talking about and belong to very beneficial, says a non-independent study. That's right. Elcars 2006. It took a Christian to ban Christmas in America years ago. Now they're all over it. Yeah. It was just I think that was that's a good point, Elcars. I feel like there are good Christians out there who realize, or at least feel like there's the money that's the capitalistic nature that's trying to, or that has invaded Christianity, all this. They saw it coming, and they tried to stop it. They did. Yes, according to don't tell me I'm old. I was there, though. I was there. It was the signing of the Treaty of Tripoli, wasn't it? It was just like yesterday for me. And that's where brain no worky. Let's see here. I know I forget shit. Let's see. Bum. Yeah. Now, many of the what do you call those folk? The founding fathers, if you will, were deists, not necessarily Christians. The phrase, the government of the United States of America is not in any sense founded on the Christian religion, comes from the Article 11 from the 1797 Treaty of Tripoli. See, I told you. It was a cold and winter day. Anyway, Atheist Grandpa, signed by President John Adams and ratified unanimously by the Senate. It aimed to reassure Muslim nations that the U.S. was a secular state, not a Christian adversary. 1797. So you go work that out for yourself. Yes. Belisarius, there isn't a shrine, and there may be, I don't know what's going on over there. And again, man, unless you know, I'm just going to back away slowly. Daryl says something. What did Daryl say? Treaty of Tripoli, U.S. is not a Christian nation. That's right. Hashtag truth. My passion for wearing mixed fabrics. I know, John, you're a mixed fabric whore. I've heard that about you for a while now. And the OnlyFans photographs. We have the mixed fabrics all over the place. You mixed fabrics, slut you. And your love for shellfish and hate of slavery guarantees that I could never be a good Christoid. Yeah. And see, that's one of the things. Remember this... we had that one Christian call the other day. He's like, God would never support slavery. Well, dude, God's all about slavery. He's like Yahweh, slavery, God. Slavery is his middle name. I don't know how people could not know that. The New Testament doesn't even dispute that. As a matter of fact, maybe be slaves unto your masters, right? Or good slaves or something like this. If I made an OnlyFans, I'd be owing people money. Ain't that right? Atheist mechanic. I don't know. There's some people out there with some really bad taste and maybe some money, and I might be able to make a living. I don't know. I've thought about it. Well, fine. That was a hyperbole, but the poll doesn't seem to say Japan is non-religious, like the guy says. No, you should go look that up. I mean, they actually have, I keep actually saying, the guy says, Belisarius, repeat for me that the guy said already he really didn't know enough to be speaking on the topic, and yet it keeps coming up. So I'll let you deal with that. Y'all can carry on. Too much empathy and not a bigot. Christianity doesn't work for me. Yeah, see, that's the whole thing. They lack empathy. Some of them, not all of them, obviously. Christianity is it's a lure. It attracts good people. But bad people find a home. New stage name, Chris Handsome Solo. There you go. I dig it. I badly want some silk jammies, but everywhere claim. Oh, wait. Everywhere online. Oh, let me find out what you got here. Trying to read it. There is a lot of chat. Vincent, give me a moment. I just want to make sure I didn't miss something you already said. Paul, you're always going to get nutters in every background. That is true, Paul. Paul, I don't know what me and you agree upon, but that is one of the things that we can always agree on. All right, so let's see. Vincent said, everywhere online, a society that is practicing Christians point to lower personal violence, self-control, and protective effects against delinquency, contrasting with the oppressive everywhere claim. Everywhere online. Well, you know what? I'll just take your word for it because I don't have really time to look it all up and make that. I doubt it very much. I mean, just whenever you talk about the oppression of Christians on women, just that alone. A society that has practicing Christians points to lower personal violence, self-control. Okay, so we're talking about Christians. The same one who they're rife throughout our entire news every week with Christians losing control and raping kids. Priests, pastors, all the time. You can't miss it. All the time, losing control. Yep. They benefit us, our society. And protective effects against delinquency. Man, I got to tell you something. I don't mean this against you, Vincent. I don't know nothing about you. But for anybody to defend Christians and their treatment of children is horrific. We look back on what the Catholic Church did, from the actual assaulting the children themselves to the hiding it and moving it around. But it wasn't just that church. It's the Southern Baptist Church. The Boy Scouts are going under. The Boy Scouts, that's a Christian organization, by the way, are going under from the lawsuits from the sexual assaults. Or they were. They may have gone under already. I don't remember. It's been a while. Just that alone. It's incredible. And then right now, MAGA wearing a Jesus Christ hat, welcome Jesus back, is supporting the hugest pedophile, President Epstein files, all that business. It's just, so I'm just going to, I just kind of, that's just hard for anybody. That's hard. It's hard. Let me see what Nitty says. I'm probably getting out of control. Oh, correlation is not causation. That's true. The majority of the online world has Christian influence and background, but that doesn't mean Christianity is causing it. There are a lot of things. Really, it's more of It's more of scientific studies that are real scientific studies. Christians will tell you that Christians are good. That's the whole candy coating shell on the outside of the religion, that it's good. But as soon as you cross the threshold and become a Christian, that's when the othering starts. Yeah. Are you a Methodist? Oh, yeah. We don't talk to those people because they're Baptists. Wait. Are you a Jehovah's Witness? We don't talk to you because we are evangelical. Are you a Catholic? We don't talk to you. As soon as you cross that threshold, you begin cutting other people out of your world. And I have to say, I find it appropriate that in the book of Mark, Jesus did too. In the very first, let me see, it wasn't the first chapter. Was it the first? It's chapter 3, I believe. Chapter 3, they actually go, oh, yeah. Let's see here. Bear with me one moment. I made note. And here was one thing real quick. There was this thing in Mark 3:6 where those people, Jesus lowered the people, or they lowered the paralyzed guy down into the thing, and Jesus heals them with all his power. And then they plot to kill him. These people who are against him, they plot to kill him because they don't like it. Jesus has performed miracles in front of your very eyes. And you're going to plot to kill him. Maybe they weren't that smart. I'm just saying. And then it actually says they plotted to kill him. And then it goes to the very next verse, and it says Jesus and his followers retreated to a lake. So he apparently got scared and fled. Go look that up for yourself. Let me see if I can find these things where I was reading here. Let's see, mother. I know it's somewhere mother. Let's Control F always works. Mother. Poop. Where mother? All right, so here we go. So bear with me as we go. Jesus's own family tries to get him to end his craziness and go home. Mark 3:21. Then in verse 33 and 34, Jesus begins his othering people, his denying people because of God, separating himself from others because of religion, because of God and Jesus. And that's whenever he did it, creating the dividing line between God, his followers, and his family. He denied in this chapter his own brother and his own mother in front of his homies. That was the first time. So Jesus brought division. And in Mark, he draws that first line within his family. It's like, listen, I'm going to go to the church, and if you don't like me going to the church, you need to leave my house. We're not family anymore because my church is my family. Mark 3:38, 28. I looked all cool until I wasn't really sure what the thing was. Mark 3, verse 33 and 34. Yeah. So this isn't even the other one. There's another one where you should hate your mother and father and that, but we haven't even gotten to that one yet. Geo Sam is here. Nice to see you. Is Math Pig here too? I thought I smelled something. Math Pig is here. Good morning, Math Pig. Yeah. Johnson and Yang over particularly practices protective favor answer. Which school do they draw these 270 studies from? Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Christianity is all about it. I'm gonna have to take some time and look that up myself. Because like I tell you, don't believe this jackass on the internet. I'm not gonna believe you. I've seen way too. You'd be hard pressed to find a religious community, a Christian religious community that doesn't just force their shit on people in one fashion or another. Anyway, that's probably hyperbole. I'm a jerk. Master Skywalker's here. Hey, what are your thoughts on Islam? My thoughts on Islam is that Islam is not here in my face forcing itself on me. It's not forcing itself in the 10 Commandments in schools. It's not forcing itself in the abortion through Supreme Court. And I'm sorry, man, I've already answered this once today. It happens all the time. What about Islam? Is Islam threatening me? No, Christianity is threatening me right now, every day. Me, my children, my wife, my daughter, Christianity up in our grill. So yes, I'm really, part of the deal, Vincent, is that I am woefully undereducated in the New Testament. I know that. I know things. I do know things. I know some things. But I don't know the smart people things that I got. So that's why, like, I've recently started studying. That's why we're actually talking about the book of Mark. That's why I'm going through the book of Mark. It was my very first outing reading of, and there's all kinds of things, from the fact I made earlier about how, wow, it's to hear it. It's like damn near everybody in the Middle East was up in Jesus's grill, begging him to heal them or been healed. But nobody bothered to write it down. That's a recurring theme throughout the whole thing. Well, I mean, I'm only in chapter 3, but the whole time he's been surrounded by people doing these miracles. Nobody bothered to write it down. And a lot of it, I got to say, me and 2 other people here, 2 of you guys, we could pull this shit off. We really could. All right, here's what's going to happen. I'm going to have you go into the town ahead of me and pretend to be blind, okay? And then you over there, you go in there and you get up here a couple of days early and prepare to be, pretend to be lame, get your mat out, kind of crawl around for a couple of days, making everybody. And when I come through, we'll perform these miracles and I will heal you and you'll be healed. It's more like a Penn and Teller skit. It really sounds like a scam. Listening to how he goes from here to here to here to here to here, healing this person, healing these people. Here he heals people and is followed by a whole crowd of people, but several times says, don't tell somebody that I healed you because I don't want them to know. Or they'll say, you're the Son of God. And he'll say, don't tell anybody because I don't want you to know, despite the fact that they're being right there in front of everybody. It's just really kind of, yeah. Let's see, if you check these studies, their controls are weak. I was just kind of curious. Is this from like, what is it, Grand Canyon University, which is a Christian university? Is that where they did the studies? Adrian, good morning, Adrian. I think I recognize. Do I recognize your name? I'm not a Christian, but you make huge generalizations. What about all the kids that the religion of scientism and doctrine of Darwinism kill every day, sucking their brains out? It sounds like you're the one that got your brain sucked out. If you're talking about abortion, that's just a bunch of bullshit nonsense. And you try to claim that religion or scientism and Darwinism kill all these people and ignore the millions of people who've been killed in the name of your God. People, real people, adult people throughout history, millions and millions and millions of them. Millions of them. For your God. Killing is killing. Yeah, but that, I get it. But then we start going into the whole, what's a baby? What's a fetus? When's it this? When's it that? And you're not qualified to decide. It shouldn't be up to your religion to decide. And if you were to allow your religion to decide instead of listening to these fucking Christian nationalists spread their bullshit, your religion would tell you that there's not, the Bible, I believe, tells you that it's not a baby until it's birthed. God tells his people to kill everybody, even pregnant women. Even pregnant women, and keep the girls who have not known a man for themselves. What is it? What happens when you kill a pregnant woman, my friend? That's your God. You go look this shit up yourself. The fact that you don't already know it kind of. Cakewalk, what's your thoughts on Jordan Maxwell? Hey, Cakewalk. Jordan Maxwell. What are my thoughts? I don't know. Who is Jordan Maxwell? Do I need to know Jordan Maxwell? I may know him. I may have heard of him. Jordan Maxwell. Jordan Maxwell. I have no, some religious Christian guy. Beyond that, I don't know. Scottish physicist. Oh, okay. So he's a physicist and he was a Christian and therefore God. I'm cured. Your appeal to authority has just, woed me. Surely he couldn't have been wrong because he was a physicist and Scottish. No, that doesn't work. That doesn't work for me. Just because, some of these people who go, oh, the universe is so complex, there must be some kind of God. Yeah, because really? And then they can't even make that connection that it's their God. It's just silliness. He's the guy that believes there's monsters under the ground. Aren't there? Oh, hi, Firewolf. Thank you for joining us this morning. I hope you're doing wonderful. Renormalized Advait says, I think Islam is the greatest force of evil in the world today. I've said so often and loudly, says Richard Dawkins. And see, that's the whole deal. And I appreciate that. When we talk about it, I actually have to moderate myself. I have to ease up the gas because I am very, very not Islam. I'm not against the people. I'm learning. I'm learning a lot, but I'm anti-Islam, very much against the religion. But again, man, it's not right here. It's not right here up in my grill. If I somehow, with my voice, use my voice and my time to reach all the way across to the Middle East and somehow convince some Muslims that their God is not real, that does nothing for me here and could potentially be harmful for them there. I don't know if that's their world over there. When I could be using my voice right here against Christians, right here, who are doing shit against me. So there's the Office of Faith, some business like that. Well, are you a slave to Jesus? Hi, Adblock, man. Thank you for joining us. Are you a slave to Jesus? That's a good question. That's the whole deal. Can you admit being a slave? You know, some of them can't. Oh, I'm a follower. I'm a servant. They like the word servant. They don't like the word slave. Why don't they like the word slave? You would think. We bang on it all the time. We do, but okay, Christians, theists, look away for just a moment. Atheist guys, man, we bang on this all the time. In the Old Testament, I can't tell you how many, 7 or 8 times at least, the God creature itself literally gives its people, its entire people, into slavery to another people who don't worship it, who don't believe in it, who are anti it, and yet he gives them, his own people, into slavery to these other people for periods of generations. 80 years to these people, 40 years to these people. Over and over again, the God creature gives or sells his people into slavery over and over in the Old Testament. Then, does he condone slavery? Point 1. Point 2 is, in the Old Testament, he tells his people, instructs them on the proper way to maintain your slaves. He instructs you on the proper way to treat your slaves. Nowhere in the Old Testament does it say not to have slaves. The New Testament does not say don't have slaves. Christians, if you're in the chat, you can listen now. Well, what does Jesus say about slavery? I think he does it on a couple times, or at least Paul writing for Jesus, or somebody says it. What do they say about slavery, slaves? What are they supposed to do? Obey their earthly masters as they would the Father, or some of that business. Yeah. Oh, of course, he does say to be nice to your slaves. Yeah, be nice to your slaves. That's God's condonement of slavery. Your God, not you necessarily, whoever I read that from, but you Christians' gods. And they're like, oh, no, that's not my God. That's the Old Testament. Well, let's talk about that for a moment. Why was Jesus born? Jesus was born to get rid of original sin because of what happened with Adam and Eve. Well, that's the Old Testament. You're going to get rid of the Old Testament. Jesus is a prophet. We know Jesus is a prophet because he fulfilled prophecies from the Old Testament. Oh, shit. That's right. There, the Old Testament. There it is again, the Old Testament. But no, they do teach good things. Jesus also taught about the 10 Commandments. Oh, no. That's the Old Testament again, isn't it? Yeah. Interesting stuff. Isn't that fun stuff? This is fun. I'm a rant today, all kinds of, right, Atheist Mechanic. Paul hallucinated Jesus. Indeed, just as Muhammad hallucinated Gabriel, Archangel Gabriel, or whomever. You're putting in your vote for Holy Halos. Oh, it is time for a break. I got to be honest. I usually take the half-hour breaks for my co-hosts. I could usually rant a pretty good while outside of getting coffee. But all right, so Holy Halos. You guys want Holy Halos? I'll give you some Holy Halos. We'll do some Holy Halos. Slaves, obey your earthly masters with respect and fear as you would obey Christ. Masters, treat your slaves the same way. Don't threaten them, knowing you both have the same master in heaven. That's right. And now, so to me, that's condonement of slavery. So there's nowhere Nowhere does it say not to have slaves, to free your slaves, to be gone. None of that business. So if you're a believer who believes everything that God says is true is good, if what God said is bad is wicked and sinful, then owning slaves is good. There is nowhere that it tells you not to. God himself does it. God himself instructs people to do it. And then Jesus tells you to obey them. So where's my Christians at? Where's my slave owning Christians? Chris, what do you think about the prophecies of Islam? Fuck me. Sorry, Master Skywalker. Like the naked, barefoot Bedouin, Arabs will become kings of the land and compete in tall buildings. That's exactly what happened. I don't really know. I don't know enough about their books and their religion over there to talk about it. You should watch a show on anti-Islam. I'm just saying. I tried to talk about it. I know a few things. I just don't know all the things. And prophecies, really? You think so? It was funny. We had a Muslim caller here going, it's funny that it is proof that the Quran is true because Muhammad knew about things that they taught in Hellenistic Greece. And how could he possibly have known about things that they were talking about in Hellenistic Greece? I'm like, well, fuck, that was 700 years after Hellenistic Greece. There's a million different ways he could have heard of those things. Prophecy, I doubt it. And then there's some things that are just so random. Oh, yes, it is going to be Tuesday. It's going to rain. It will be the summer. God, I've just made a prophecy. Let's check out some holy halos. I'm going to go get some coffee. We'll be back in just a minute, my friends. Next up in the bark bank, a clergyman with a holy hustle and maybe a few unholy loopholes.
Hi, Barks. Blessings and belly rubs to you all. I'm Father Flanagan, and today I'm here seeking $50,000 for 3% of my soul-saving startup, Holy Halos, the world's first, soon-to-be, church-approved condoms. Following the ways of the Lord can be hard and often require sacrifices of the flesh. Well, fear not, my wayward child. Introducing Father Flanagan's line of Holy Halo condoms.
Hold on, Father. The church very much doesn't like condoms. How do you expect to sell these?
Well, you're right, but these aren't just any condoms. No, my furry financiers, these are permeable. But every single halo has been dipped in holy water, a divine divider between you and sin. You can finally frolic freely and still keep that sweet spot in heaven. Permeable, but dipped in holy water to keep the sin out, but let the babies in.
Let you get your stick wet without getting your stick stuck.
If you know what I mean.
Oh my! Very embarrassing every time.
So basically they don't work as condoms, but they let you get away with having sex without going to hell?
Exactly. The church gets to keep making babies, but you don't have to keep going to confession. Think of it. No more guilt. No more awkward "I'm saving myself for marriage" speeches. With Holy Halos, you can take those pray hands and turn them into lay hands.
Didn't I read that holy water is full of bacteria like E. coli? Won't this be harmful to women's health?
The words are English, but I don't understand the question.
How are you addressing the issue holy water presents for women's health?
Again, I'm not understanding.
She does that. Well, we don't get it either.
Is that mesh from a window screen?
Ah, that's a keen eye you have there, young lass. Yes. Another fine selling point, rough on the outside to increase her shame, as it should be, but soft and smooth on the inside, internally lubed and ribbed for his pleasure. We even have custom scents.
Scents? Now you have my attention. What flavors we talking? Don't pitch me that vanilla missionary nonsense, Padre.
Well, we do have virgin vanilla, but we also have miracle mint and cooing camel, and my personal favorite, sweat of the Savior.
And the Vatican, they've blessed this endeavor?
Well, not exactly. I'm still waiting on the papal decree one way or the other.
I love it, but you're asking 50 grand for only 3%. That's rough, Father, real rough.
Not running with the big dogs on this one. I'm gonna stay on the porch.
Me too. Good luck, Father. 15%.
Ouch, 15%, that's highway robbery even for the church.
Come on, Father, we're dogs. We know a bone when we see one. 10%, and we'll even bless your branding.
Look, meet me in the middle, 7%, and I'll baptize all your puppies.
7% works for me. Father Flanagan, it looks like we
Wait a
have...
second. Our producers say we have a special call-in bidder. Let's get him up on the screen. Folks, we have the guardian of the sacred fire hydrant himself.
Oh, no.
Defender of the holy tennis ball and eater of the golden kibble, Pup Oliver Poops a Lot the fifth.
Flanagan!
Yes, your portrait.
50,000 at 20%.
20%?
And you get to keep calling yourself a father.
Sold to the pup in the very fine hat.
I knew you'd see it my way.
You're very wise, your hiney. Would there be anything else?
You may leave.
Father Flanagan's line of holy halos, ultra thin, spiritually thick. Available in 3 sizes, conservative, medium, and liberal. All right, so I got a couple of points to make here. Vincent says, using today to judge 2,000 years ago is disingenuous. I just want to start by saying, so your God back then didn't know slavery was immoral. Chattel slavery was immoral. He didn't know that back then. Other cultures around the world didn't have slavery. Some did, some didn't. But, and we know now, and if we can know something now and he didn't know it then, does that mean we know something God didn't know? So there's that, right? So you're saying God didn't know. All right, so let me go back to that exact same statement. Vincent says, using today to judge 2,000 years ago is disingenuous. Right now, we've got millions of people all over this world using the words of people 2,000 years ago to judge people today. I think that's worse. I think that's a lot worse. I think we should be critical of what what the people back then did. We're better than that now. We've evolved culturally since then. And I accept that. But to judge them back then, yeah, absolutely. If you and your people can judge me and my people based on what those people said back then we can judge them for what they did back then. Why not? That's really kind of the deal, though. You say we shouldn't judge what happened 2,000 years ago, and yet y'all judge from dead words 2,000 years old. That's the first one. Then the second one that was wrong. Christopher Wilson says, I think most atheists confuse free will with evil. No, that's Christians. Christians do that. Why does God, let me answer this for me, my friend. Why does God let that rapist rape and murder that little girl? Because if it's evil, why does God allow evil? Because of free will. Because he didn't want to interrupt with that guy's free will. It's Christians. Christians are the ones who are free will and evil. That's just nonsense. You just kind of, I don't really know. There's a lot of projection coming out of you, my friend. A lot of projection. From now on, maybe if you start to say something ugly about atheists, you might want to stop and go, do my people actually do that? Do atheists really do that? Let me go on. I got more notes just from the break here. Let's see. 2,000 years ago is not offensive. Oh, good. Oh, and somebody said, I want to mention something about Jesus and all that business. Jesus was, there were points in Mark where Jesus says, essentially, listen, the law is too harsh, man. If you got to work on Saturday to feed yourself, don't get stoned. You shouldn't be stoned. That kind of makes sense. The laws are a little too harsh. Jesus did not say not to obey the laws. Jesus did not say he was replacing the laws. He was just saying, literally, some of them are too harsh. Go read it, my Christian friends, if you want to. Mark chapters 1, 2, and 3. Go read it yourself. Now, I want to mention that after Jesus heals the leper, I think it's in chapter 2, after he heals the leper, he tells that leper to go perform the sacrifices as per the laws of Moses. Go to the priests and do whatever is required of you to perform the sacrifices. Jesus commands him to go perform the sacrifices of a Jew, following the law of Moses. Interesting stuff. So for those of you Christians out there who are like, oh no, I'm working on this whole thing in my brain. I don't quite, let's see, Christopher Wilson says, I know it's not what you meant. I'm going to read it correctly. I don't quite think you understand what you read about the Bible. You wouldn't, would you? That's exactly what you wouldn't think. Yeah. Maybe you should go look it up for yourself, though. I told you where the scriptures are. It's your own ignorance that keeps you from going. I mean, if you're ignorant about these things, it's because you want to be ignorant. Go look for yourself. Good morning, Steve. Steve is here. Steve is awesome. Good morning, Steve. Thank you for joining us. Steve says it's almost as if it was written by uninformed humans. Crazy that, huh? It's kind of... So God set them all up to fail, says Miss Non Sequitur. That's a good point. God hates people. God hates humans. He does. I mean, he says so as much in Genesis chapter 6. For every thought in their heart is disgusting. Something is wicked and disgusting. He hates people. He says it over and over again. I think he'd wipe us out with floods again, were it not for the fact that he said, but wait, he said he wouldn't do it. Yeah, how many people have ever been killed by floods? That's craziness. Dear Mib Sadida, good morning. Just don't do evil. Steal, kill, destroy, etc. Yeah, I appreciate that. That's a good... One of the things I wanted to say about, and I wanted to say this kind of to Steve, was that I've been trying to grow as a person. Especially whenever it comes to, now, of course, Christianity. But I mean, I experienced Christianity, but I have these notions about Islam that I didn't get from experience with Islam. I got from other people telling me about Islam. And the older I get and the more I learn about what's going on in the real world and the Zionism, and not Jews, not Israelis, Zionists, essentially Jewish MAGA, if you will. I mean, I have to question what I know about Islam and Muslims, because I fear what I have learned has been filtered through these Zionist MAGA. So I have to reassess. I've been trying to kind of learn more before I speak. But then again, it's not really our bag here, right? That's not what we do. Let's see here. Axel is nice to see you, Axel. Have been loved by floods. Yeah. You know, it's really, there were 100,000 people killed by floods on Christmas Day 10 years ago, right? 10 or 15 years ago. What was that? Was it 2000? Has it been that far? Has it been that long ago? Wow. December 26th to 25th, depending on where you were on the world at the time. Yep, earthquake struck, killing 100,000 people, maybe 200 close. Oh, killing an estimated 227,898 people. Estimated. God is great. God is good. They must have all been gay or something, right? Is that how that works? If you're a Southern United States, like what Southern Democrat they used to call them, which are actually just conservatives, pro-slavery people. I mean, they just blame the gays. It's the gays. There was this preacher guy who said the floods, if the floods are caused by the gays, and then his house was flooded. Funny stuff. Let's see here. What is going on, Christopher? So you believe God doesn't exist, and you believe there's evidence that prove he doesn't? No. You speak for people a lot, don't you? I really just think for somebody who does that, you should just know more about what they think before you speak for them. I haven't. Nobody's given me enough proof, evidence to convince me that your God creature is real. Now, I don't know it doesn't exist. I can't say it doesn't exist. It does not exist. I can't say that, because I would then be claiming that I know that it doesn't. I don't know that it doesn't exist, but based on all the evidence, it doesn't exist. I don't believe it exists. So, and especially like Jesus talked about, I mean, we talked about it yesterday on the show, the lies of Jesus. Jesus man, somebody pointed out in the chat, oh man, Jesus said, if you're a true believer, you can do all these miracles and more. He was talking to his people. If you believe and you're a true believer, where are all the miracles? Where are all the people going around all the time doing Jesus's miracles like Jesus did? More, even more, according to Jesus. Either Jesus was lying, Jesus is wrong, or none of you fuckers are real, good, honest Christian believers of the nature of the right kind that actually gets granted that power. Where are they? Where are all these miracles? Where are the nuns going from hospital bed to hospital bed to hospital bed, healing people in threes? Because Jesus says, get 3 people in my name and ask for it together and it will be done. Did he not? Uh-oh. Duck, Chris. There was some kind of noise. Let me see if oh, no, not from that. You know, when I hear noises, I got to check because in the past, weird shit's been going on. I just want to make sure it wasn't no weird shit. Okay, gotcha. I ranted. Great Grandpa Atheist, good morning, young Padawan, ignorant Christian. Which ideology is more dangerous? One that blindly demands your submission or one that allows you to question and explore? Hey, Odie, it doesn't allow you to question and explore. It doesn't allow you, because if you do, you go to hell. You think the way it sounds as though one is more dangerous because Islam blindly demands you to submit, if that's what you're talking to. But what happens if you don't submit in Christianity? Looking at you, hell. I mean, I'm just saying. Let's see. You guys are fantastic. No, I do. Let's see. I would debate your ignorance. Yeah, maybe. But why? What have I said that was wrong? I have a phone line, and I was actually going to start it up and kind of do the thing, but I have to say, I believe in my mission. I believe in my cause. I believe I am just. I believe I'm right. Whenever I talk to people such as this individual in the chat, I always believe like I have the high ground. I am Obi-Wan up above. So it's not that I fear arguing with these people. It just gets old. I'm not a person who enjoys conflict. And to sit here and yell at people for 2 hours just doesn't work for me. And people don't listen anyway. You're not listening to me. I ain't listening to you. Jesus thought diseases were caused by curses. That's true. And then whenever you read Mark, people go, oh, read Mark. It's fantastic. And I really wish Terry Fiend were here. They're like, read Mark is fantastic. It's like divinely inspired, etc. But really, it's the guy who really liked Jesus wrote it. Jesus just does magic. Jesus spirits call out to Jesus. Now, oddly enough, the evil spirits who know the true face of Jesus apparently don't say, "Oh my goodness, you are God. You are the one and almighty creator of the universe." That's not what they say. You are the Son of God, they say. I'm just on that for those Christians who claim Jesus is also God. That way they can worship Jesus because they really want to worship Jesus instead of God. But Jesus is not God. But God says, worship nobody else but me. So you make Jesus God so you can excuse why you worship Jesus. But they're not the same. Occasionally, like Jesus might say, like, I am one with the universe. And people are like, oh, that means he's God. But most of the time he talks about this stuff right here. You are the Son of God. I think twice in Mark, they refer to him as the Son of God. What does Emmanuel? Yes, right. Jesus' name was not Emmanuel. And I've heard that before. So that's a prophecy unfulfilled, but I've heard that before. And Christians will just kind of go, well, listen, Emmanuel actually means like the son of light or the follower of this. And also when you translate it in this language, it means this and this. And they really word it around, squirm around to try to somehow make it to where the Old Testament, where they raised up the child or something, I don't remember exactly what happened, and said, Emmanuel, this is the coming Lord or some business, and cried out, he will be named Emmanuel. They did all that just to jam Jesus into there. All that. There was a thief got beaten in the Old Testament. Got beaten. So he had, stripes. And so Jesus had stripes because he got beaten. Now he fulfills prophecy from the Old Testament. Wait, Jesus is a thief? Jesus is a thief from the Old Testament and he's going to get beaten for getting caught stealing? No? Well, then that's what it's referring to. How do you not know this? But I'm sure you know more about your Bible than I do. I mean, I'm sure you do. Yeah, Carol. Adam and Eve, atomic light of Adam, son of Adam and Eve, Trinity of the avatars. I dig it. Grand Theft Donkey. I love it, secular feelings. Good morning, by the way. That's fantastic. Yeah, the Emmanuel thing wasn't about Jesus. I know. And then there's sometimes where I've seen this. I saw it on the interwebs. There's this group of people Christians, and they've got this video. I actually made a video about it, where they take the first word of the first name of everybody in the Bible, the first chapters, and they try to put them all together, and they jam it together. They said, like, the Son of Man is here to absolve the world of the plagues of the universe, or whatever they said. I'm like, really? Somebody along the line named their kid the plague of the universe? That's what they did? Really? That's just stupid. It's just stupid how they jam them through there. And no, it wouldn't actually be a debate, man. It would be me and you yelling at each other, and that's all it is. I mean, can you disprove? You can't even disprove anything I've said. So, and what are you going to do? Yell at me? I'm going to yell at you, and we're going to do this thing. Actually, I'm thinking about just getting rid of the whole line together, and maybe doing a call-in show for people in the afternoon and getting rid of the call-in line altogether on the morning show. Because, man, I got to find some joy in this. And so I dread arguing with these people. Most of the time, they don't even know what the fuck they're talking about. If you've been watching this show, you remember that one guy? Oh, my goodness, that one Christian who called in to ask me, berate me, blah, blah, blah. The only thing that matters is the New Testament and the Ten Commandments. Jesus said the Ten Commandments and the New Testament. That's all that matters. Really? Jesus said that. It boggles me how much these people don't know about their religion. The books, I admit I've got a lot to learn, especially about the New Testament. Got a lot to learn. But even I know things like the New Testament wasn't written within a lifespan of the people who allegedly lived there. The book of Mark, there's no way the person who wrote the book of Mark was there. It's unlikely that the person who wrote the book of Mark heard about it directly from someone who was there. Almost certainly it was hearsay we're talking at least 60 years after Jesus allegedly lived. Now, mind you, I was already going through the book of Mark, and 3 chapters into the book of Mark, you would think that Jesus was Taylor Swift from all the crowds gathering. Like I said, at one point he got into the boat, right? And so I told you about how they had a boat waiting for him in case he got overwhelmed. So later, like the next chapter, he actually gets in the boat and goes across the lake, and they follow him in boats, people. But nobody wrote this shit down. Nope. Nobody wrote it down. Just some guy writing in the name of Mark, I guess, alleged. I'm going to learn more about who wrote it and when they wrote it and all that business, but I know that it was not within a reasonable span of time to Jesus' lifetime. So, you think too much. Focus on the message. Matthew Long, get your people to focus on the message and keep their boots off everybody else's throat. Tell your people, spend your time telling your people that they need to stop trying to put the 10 Commandments in the schools instead of telling me I think too much. Tell your people to stop with this whole forcing your notions about abortion on everybody else's women. Tell them to stop doing that. Well, you're wasting our time, dude. Chris, chat, Punk Metal Tao, it's been a day or two, having a great day and wanted to share the joy with you. Love you all. It's been a day or 3. I hope you're being safe out there, sending safely. Constantine the Great. See, there's lots of different things, lots of different stuff. If you read to pick it apart, you miss the message. Maybe you should read to pick it apart. There's a lot of people out there telling you that you're being fooled, that this is a cult. You're being fooled. You're being lied to. And the very thing they don't want you to do is to lean not onto your own understanding, right? Let me rephrase. How did you say it here, my friend? If you read to pick it apart, you miss the meaning. Of course, right? Yeah, that's what they want you to think. They don't want you to pick it apart. They don't want you to see how ridiculous it is, how utterly stupid some of it is, and just wholly ridiculous the rest of it can be. They don't want you to see that. They don't want you. There's between doing things like that. If you read it to pick it apart, lean not on your own understanding. There's that. Lean not on your own understanding. Okay, so there's lean not on your own understanding, but there's also Jesus speaks in parables. That way, the people who don't believe won't understand. So there's that. Then there's also the thing of, because they don't believe, they won't understand. When you believe, you'll understand. They tell you these things. These are all things that people who know they're dealing with bullshit tell you to explain why reasonable people don't fall for the bullshit. Yeah, we got 3 reasons. Lean not on your own understanding is probably my favorite one. The other one, and then of course they've got the fool. The fool, how's it go? The fool, even in his heart, the fool. Oh, in his heart, the fool denies the Lord or some business, calling us a fool because we deny the Lord. Right? I mean, yeah, of course they would say that. Of course they would say that. They don't want you to stop tithing, stop giving your best go, stop fighting their wars for them, stop killing in the name of their God. They don't want that. They don't want you to stop oppressing women in the name of their God. There's a lot of things. Oh man, my chat moves up so fast. Danielle, let's see. There was a historical, good morning, Cheryl. If there was a historical Jesus, maybe he was Taylor Swift. Ooh, Taylor, we'll have to call her. Taylor, if you're watching, we'd like to talk about that. Maybe he was Taylor Swift, like popular dude. Oh, Taylor Swift like, as in, I got you, sorry. I thought you were saying Jesus was Taylor Swift or Taylor Swift is Jesus. I almost could buy that. Dude who was just a radical and shook up some stuff and passed people off with whatever. Yeah. I mean, really, when you listen to it, he went from place to place to place, leaning on everybody else. He ate their food. He was kind of some kind of rock star, just love me everywhere he got. I'm just in the first few chapters of the book, I mean, it's kind of, but Moses had only 10. 10 what? The Decalogue? Oh, hey, John, have a great day, y'all. YouTube on the phone has way too many commercials and the reception in the shop sucks. Y'all have a lovely. Awesome. I'm going to figure, somebody told me that it was possible. I don't know how to do it. I've never done it. Somebody told me it's possible to gift memberships. I got to figure out how to do that. I don't know how to do it. But I will. That way you don't have to mess with that sort of thing. Good day, John. Maybe the current Bible is anonymous, but not the Ethiopian Bible. Well, you got me there. You got me with the Ethiopian Bible. I mean, that's all the scholars agree. That's clearly the evidence that they put forth. And you can't taser them over the internet. No, I asked. You can't. I got a message from. I got a super chat. My friend says, Flockmeister says Christianity is a lot like Christianity is like a kit with a lot of parts that don't all fit and very confusing instructions. You have to guess what to use and what to pitch. And they're very good at that. Thank you very much for the super chat, Flockmeister. You notice it's very much about especially whenever it comes to the Old Testament. They hate the Old Testament. But they would, wouldn't they? Because Jesus' love and sweetness and mercy and all that business. And the Old Testament tells us that the creature standing behind Jesus, the creature giving Jesus his power, is vile and disgusting and vulgar. So they just want to turn away from it. They don't want that. So, and yeah, let me just check here real quick. Maybe the current Bible is anonymous. I don't mean to laugh every time. Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That's not funny. Caps lock does help. Matthew Long says you refuse to follow your purpose, so you judge others who serve. You serve dark. You serve dark. If you serve Jesus, if you're a Christian, you serve the darkness. You're the one out there hurting people. You're the one out there forcing your shit on other people. The Christians are the ones who force Catholicism on people. The Christians and I go over it so many times. I don't know, but I mean, it's you people. You are the ones who serve the darkness. You're the ones who oppress other people. If it weren't for you, where would our society be scientifically alone? Sure, the Catholic Church or the Catholic did found some churches, found some universities and did some medical stuff, but they also did a lot of oppressing, like not allowing women to have abortions in their hospitals, which span a good hunk of the country. I mean, there's a lot of things, and it's not a good balance. Christianity was spread by a conquest and sword, not words. Yep. My name is Matthew James. You had something to say. Where did you go? Who are you talking? Oh, my name is Matthew. Okay, wait a second. Matthew, stop with the caps lock. I'm telling you now, stop. And that's the only time I'm going to tell you. There's a delay, so I'll give you one last time to caps lock it. After that, that's going to be the last caps lock. I'm just saying, man, homie, don't play that. Just stop it. Stop it now. Okay, you're not religious. See, that's nice. That's nice. Okay, got you. I see. I knew there was a delay. Thank you for that. No evidence he's dead. Ancient churchianity. That's a cool one. I dig it. No evidence he's dead. Which part? You test me, you ignorant little being. You pathetic little person. You're small and tiny. And I'll see you later. Actually, I won't. So carry on, because I don't fuck around. I mean, I used to. And then I had bitches come along. I just don't put up with bitches anymore. So you bitched, and I let you bitch, and then I asked you politely not to bitch, and then you're like, fuck you. And I'm like, all right, fuck off. So love you, bye-bye. Don't let the Lord, how's it go? Don't let the door hit you in the ass on your way out, you ignorant little person. Now, see, my friends, I capping for Chris. I do want to mention, I've gotten a little more brazen in how I discuss things with people, and I'm getting to become okay with that, especially with the people we're dealing with. Some people just need to be told, man, that's fucking ridiculous. That's ignorant. If people had said this thing a long time ago, maybe we'd be in less of a shit we're in now. Oh yeah, slavery. You guys are talking about slavery again. Oh, cherry picking the Bible. Gotta be cherry picking the Bible. Yes, Lincoln was a Republican. Yeah, he was. And you probably almost certainly don't know that the parties have switched names since then. You didn't know that, did you? You didn't want to know that. Go look it up for yourself. Don't trust me. Don't trust me. Yes. Caps lock issue. I know. I mean, I dig it. If it's their flex on power, to be honest, friends, I mean, most of you, if you watch these kinds of shows, they have a bot that blocks that shit out automatically or will kick them automatically. Am I right? So, am I being a jerk by kicking them? No. I feel like I gave them plenty of warning. Now they can go do a sock account if they want. I got all kinds of kick buttons. I got ban button for days, bitches. Lincoln was a Republican. Yeah, no, Lincoln was a Republican. Yeah, we saw that. Nightbot. Yeah, Nightbot. I've got a bot. I just don't have that part of it turned on. It's not generally a problem. I've got wonderful mods. The ones I didn't run off by being a jerk. But I've got wonderful mods who usually take care of that. But I'm a big boy. I can take care of that myself. And what a dullard. Yeah, I know. It's these people. I don't know, man. I'm reading stuff. It's always convenient when they forget to party swap. I know, right? It's just crazy. They want to take credit for the good things. They don't want to take credit for the bad things, Crazy. We are not slaves of Jesus. We are children or friends of Jesus Christ. He loves us too much. Jesus, his name, which is highly on earth. There is not any other name. Well, thank you for joining us. Inox Luxus. Interesting. What happens if you don't follow Jesus? Inox Luxus, can you... what happens if you don't follow or you deny Jesus? What happens? Would you let me know? Put that in there. Nothing happens. See, that's a lot of Christians believe nothing happens. Well, actually, atheists believe nothing. Thank you. Yeah, there are some Christians who believe nothing happens. Some theists, I guess, believe nothing happens. Some of them believe in hell and the fiery damnations of hell. Some of them don't like hell because an all-loving God wouldn't create such a place. So they actually call it like it's not hell. It's not a burning place. It's a removal from God's presence. That sort of thing. Daniel, good morning. Following Jesus, follow him means Torah on heart. You know, I mean, they don't know that. They don't keep that shit down, man. They don't know that. They don't know that. They deny the Torah. They deny it all. Tell what wrong Jesus did do. No, it's not. So what wrong did Jesus do? Well, Jesus told you, he actually sets by example and then says that your church family is more important than your home family. Mark chapter 3. That causes division. Tells you this is not those people who don't worship my God at home. Fuck them. These people who are in these pews beside me, they are my family. Jesus says that. Mark. So that's just one. Joanne G just subscribed. Good morning, Joanne. I hope I said that right. Joanne G. I hope I said that right. Ancient Churchianity says no evidence has been provided that Jesus is dead given the historical evidence. Well, I got you, but technically, I just want to throw this out there. No evidence has been provided that he actually lived either. You know? Yeah. We don't have any solid evidence that Jesus lived. That's what I've been harping on for the first half of the show was the book of Mark. And none of the people who were alive when Jesus was allegedly alive were around. And in the book of Mark, it says all the people all over the land, from all the people of Judea and this city, named like 3 or 4 cities, all of them came to watch Jesus preach and to heal people. And none of them wrote it down. That doesn't really make a lot of sense. Take it with no evidence of a mass grave in peacetime Israel according to archaeology. No evidence of a mass grave in peacetime. Well, yeah. I know, Evan. I know. It's what I've been saying. Occam's razor. They don't like Occam's razor, though. Let me see what I'm seeing here. See, I'm trying to. This chat goes by fast. David Martinez, consequences for disobedience. You shall eat the flesh of your sons and daughters and eat the flesh of your neighbors too. Deuteronomy 28:53. Thank you, David Martin. That is bad. That is bad. It's obvious that you can't be open-minded. No, it's obvious that I'm not going to fall for your bullshit and that I can read your book and not fall for its bullshit. And that I actually tell you that it's bullshit and I point out where it's bullshit. I told you where it's bullshit and you ignore everything I say. Go look for yourself. Go look for yourself. All those people. Thousands and thousands of people over weeks or whatever, following him around, following him in boats, on land and in sea, following him. And nobody wrote that shit down. But of course, this is the person who believed in Jesus and who was writing the book. They believed, they wrote the book. And of course they would say that. Of course they would say that this powerful spiritual being would be able to pull demons from possessed people. Of course they would. Why would they not say that? It's stupid to say that he would not. But then to go, oh, he could because it says so there. You know? Yeah, I don't think, no, yeah. I think that you're set in your ways, is what you said. Yeah, you're wrong, though. See, you're wrong. I really can't. I don't think I can prove to you that you're wrong. I can tell you about just over the last year, my growth concerning Islam. I used to be a real severe Islamophobe. And I've tried to come along and realize that a lot of that was actually programming by Zionists and anti-Muslim people. And I have to learn how to sift through that and grow as a person. Part of the reason why I'm even studying the book of Mark is because I want to learn and grow. And the deal is that it's not convincing, dude. When you read it, it's a bunch of nonsense. Yeah, I know he's spoken nonsense, so non-believers wouldn't believe it. Right, that's exactly what they want you to think. I already covered that. Closed-minded, failing to agree with me is what these say. Yeah, I know, right? I know. It's just, and then I'm curious however you follow some set of rules. I do follow some set of rules. Actually, I like to maintain that I am more moral than you, Christopher Wilson. I'm an atheist and I'm more moral than you. Well, I guess that depends how you think of morality. If you think of morality where people are good to each other and kind to each other and love each other and they don't treat each other bad, I'm more moral than you. If you believe that your evil God creature, whatever it says is good is good and whatever it says is bad is wicked, you're more moral than me. Yeah. But if you're not that kind of person, yeah, I say that because I don't have this God creature behind me all the time telling me not to do these bad things or watching over me with the threat of putting me in hellfire forever. No, I don't have that. I don't fear hell. I don't fear God. I don't fear not getting into paradise. I don't fear burning in for eternity. I don't fear none of that. And I still don't go hurt people. But to listen to you people talk, if it weren't for God, you'd be off killing and raping and murdering all the time. So who is more moral, me or you? Again, it just depends on which standards. I was, but Daniel, the show's almost over, and I'm probably gonna. Yeah, I was. I used to, but yeah, it gets old. It's other people like doing it. It's just not my bag. I don't like. Again, not because I doubt my position. And yeah, I'm just like any other atheist with the show. I've been taking calls for 3 months now. You can go watch them. I have a mute button just like anybody else does. God is Torah. That's right. I know, Ollie. I agree. Yeah. That's the whole deal. And that's what I've tried to explain to these people. It just depends on how far you want to go back, the Torah, the Old Testament. We're splitting hairs between which and which and which. But really, if you're a Christian, and I know this is hard to get, if you're a Christian, the face of your God is revealed in the Old Testament. Go look at the Torah. Go look at the Old Testament. Go look at the horrific things this God creature does. That's God. Jesus is just the guy who either lets you into heaven or puts you down to hell, right? He's the guy between. He's the bouncer. But what do you face if you don't follow Jesus? You face the wrath of God. Am I wrong? Anybody, can I say I'm wrong? Am I wrong? You face the wrath of the God creature of the Old Testament. So how do they separate themselves from that? Lawless Christians, he is correct. Right. Well, whenever we have to think, as an atheist, I like to throw out statistics about how atheists actually take up a very small percentage of the people in prisons and all that other business. Fair and true to a degree. But atheists are also a smaller percentage of people overall. So it's not really fair to Christians. I know I said it to say things like that because our numbers are so different. They're so much smaller than the other. But what we can tell is despite the lack of smaller numbers, you can go look at how many priests, pastors, Sunday school teachers, Bible study pastors, just this year have been arrested for those bad things. You cannot say that percentage-wise about atheists. You can't take overall atheists and the percent nons, whatever you want to call us, overall them, and take the percentage of those who do those sorts of horrific things, and that number won't even be the same. Just saying. Jesus is dead. That's an interesting thing. I kind of been missing the whole Jesus is dead thing. Really, we've talked about it. There's a school of thought about Jesus didn't exist at all because we have no evidence. There's so many people claim. I think somewhere in John claims that if they wrote down all the miracles Jesus did, there wouldn't be enough books to cover it. But they didn't write any of them down. None of them. Not for a lifetime and a half after Jesus was allegedly alive. The religion of man have taken over and formed the lawless churches that we see today. That's interesting how powerless the God creature is, though, isn't it? How so easily its word is corrupted. How its holy word, its own holy word is corrupted. And whenever you even talk to Muslims, we had a Muslim guy on the show. I mean, the entire Old Testament, well, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to misrepresent you, Muslim friend. The parts of the Old Testament that this Muslim didn't like is corrupted. But the parts that he does like, they're not corrupted. And it's the only time I've ever seen such a buffet-like situation was Christians. Christians are the same way. Oh my God, you start talking about, oh, you think Jesus is God. So Jesus is the one that commanded the two bears to rip apart the 42 boys. Jesus did that. Was that Jesus that did that? Just kind of clarify. Okay, just making sure. And now, see, this is Paul. I've heard there's a school of thought that Muhammad didn't exist either. I don't know about that. I don't know. I'd have to learn more and find out more as the studies come along. So what's wrong with that, says Christopher. Which one with which part, brother? I've said a lot, and there's a delay, so I'm not really sure which part of... You actually asked what was wrong with what. Hey, Zarcross, where you been, man? All the cool kids are here. We were, like, exchanging tattoos and stuff. We've got this one over here, and I've got this one over here, and then I've got the Encyclopedia Britannica tattooed in 1-inch letters down the length of my penis. But they said I can't show you that one. It's company policy. HR says I can't. HR says I can't show you that one. Let's see. The story is of us to understand God's loves from Jesus' name. And, you know, man, I appreciate you. You probably speak better English in whatever language. Then I speak of whatever language you speak natively. I appreciate that you're trying. The revelation of Jesus is horrible. The Jesus of Revelation arrives covered in blood. Doesn't he not? His robe's covered in blood. Does anything make sense to you, says Christopher Wilson. And see, man, that's exactly the thing. That's exactly it. To you, it wouldn't seem that way, would it? To somebody who's been convinced and programmed and what's the word? There's another word. Yeah, that's you. That's you. People on the outside are trying to tell you that you have been tricked. Can you hear the message? Are you smart enough? I suspect you probably are. I really think you're smart enough. I believe you can do it. You're smart enough to realize that. Go look at the text yourself, man. This is fucking ridiculous. And had you not been raised in this stuff and been like 21 before you had ever heard of it and been raised in just normal science, and you wouldn't believe none of this stuff. None of it. Go look at it. It's all ridiculous. Ridiculous. One of the things that I thought was fascinating about Jesus and the very first... Indoctrinated, thank you. Better than remember. One of the things that I found fascinating in the book of Mark is, of course, it's a very respected book, is that when Jesus comes down, John is baptizing folk. And it doesn't say anything about Jesus before Mark baptizes Jesus. Really kind of what it says is John baptizes Jesus, and whenever he pulls Jesus out of the water, the sky opened up, there was a loud thunder, and a voice said unto Jesus, you are the Son of God. Now this voice also used the same phrase, Son of God. Same phrase the demons later in the same book would call him. It says he's the Son of God, and now you're going to go do, as if Jesus didn't already know. Wait a second, you mean becoming baptized is what brought God into Jesus, but wasn't Jesus already? Didn't Jesus go? But you go read Mark, and you go read it with an open mind to somebody, and it kind of reads that way. Now that I've told it, it reads it as if Jesus kind of got dunked in the water, and then suddenly, boom, the heavens opened. It actually does say that. The heavens opened up, and there was this thing, and the voice said unto Jesus, you are my son. Why? That's interesting. What does critical thinking have to do with this, says Christopher Wilson? That's exactly what I would expect you to say. Critical thinking is what would lead you out of the hate faith that you're in. You don't see it that way, I know, but Walid Malik. Every single human being is a slave to something. What better to be a slave to than your creator instead of profits, money, fame, science, desires, says Walid. I don't know. Actually, there's a lot of things I can prove. My desires involve computers and airplanes and living a life and trying to break. There's a lot of things I like doing that don't have anything to do with God. And, maybe I enjoy those things. I don't really see it being the same as me sacrificing my life and leading other people to this nonsense that you can't prove, you can't back up, you can't do any of that stuff. I'm getting off on my own tail. Daryl, oxygen addiction. Yes. Christopher Wilson. Are you not the guy I already said that was projecting? Or was that somebody else? That may have been you or somebody else, obviously a Christian. Christopher Wilson says, the Christian in the chat, bear with me, my friends. I know it's hard to believe. The irony is so fucking thick. The Christian says, that's your problem. You pick and choose. I believe in you, Christopher Wilson. I believe in you. Think about it, man. You're special. You're the one. You see through your eyes. Open your eyes, man. You'll see it. You'll see it. You'll get free. You'll be free. You can do it. Because if anybody can do it, you can do it, right? It's you. Don't fall for the lies. Just go read this stuff, dude. Go read this stuff. There was a link. Go look at all the contradictions. I'm going to read our super chats now, my friends. Flockmeister says, for $5, Christianity is like a kit with lots of parts that don't all fit. And very confusing instructions. You have to guess what to use and what to pitch. Yeah, and you never know. And of course, remember I mentioned earlier in the show about Jesus saying, Jesus said, I think this may have been attributed to Paul, I don't know, but Jesus said that if you believe in me, you can do all the miracles that I've done. And more, and more. All the miracles that Jesus has done and more. Where are all these Christians outperforming all these miracles? What did Jesus do? Jesus healed the sick. He healed paralyzed people. He took somebody's hand that was all twisted up and he made it not twisted. Jesus did some powerful stuff. Powerful stuff. Where are all these Christians out doing that stuff? Either there's no power there, heaven forbid, or none of you Christians is worth a shit. None of you is worthy of Jesus. And that, my friends, I could actually believe. Vincent, thank you, said, actually, Umar Harris Johnson Jang review and many studies show that societies have higher practicing Christians. Having higher practicing Christians show lower violence, and secular societies follow mostly Christian morals. Really, to be fair, at best, Christian morals latched on to the morals of human society. The humans already knew. You don't really think, now correct me if I'm wrong, you don't really believe that they didn't think it was wrong to murder people before the 10 Commandments, do you? Do you really think that they didn't know? They didn't have a sense of right or wrong at all? Oh no, that's God stamped it on their heart. No. Your God tried to attribute all the best natures of man to its ruling and steal them. Vincent says, all right, we should start from the beginning with Vincent because that's like a conversation. I appreciate you, Vincent. I always feel weird taking money from people who are not on my side. But then what does that say about me taking money from people who are on my side? Fuck you. Or not, I don't know how it works. Let's see here. So Vincent said, genuine question, why is it always Christians you seem hostile to or for? Have you ever criticized other religions? Love the show. I think I did. I believe I answered that quite well, that Christianity is up in my grill and other religions are not. Then, see, that's why I'm reading these in order. Vincent says, fair, but if you democratically elect an atheist, you think and expect he would make laws according to his morals, what he thinks is right. Wouldn't that be forcing his morals on others that disagree? When that's not really I don't think, we don't really have that problem necessarily. And when you go look at the morals of a typical atheist, which claims secular humanism, you will see that we are far more moral based on those measurements, by the measurements of by somebody who wants good for everybody and doesn't want harm for people and wishes everybody equality in life and joy. Secular humanism is better, because with your divine command theory, if God commands me to be punished and sin and wakeful and burn in hell and thinks that's good, you should think that's good as well. If God says you should murder babies and that's good, you should murder babies and that's good. Who's more moral? And God does those things in the Old Testament, by the way. I'm just saying he does those things. And then again, I'm here without that God creature behind me, without the threat of eternal damnation, and I don't do those things. Oddly enough, there are a lot of Christians out there who do have that creature behind them, and yet they still do those things. They still murder, they still rape, they still kill. I wonder, how much do they really believe if they do those things? Fascinating. And then Vincent again said, actually, Ulmer and Harris, 2013, review many studies that show societies having higher practicing Christians show lower violence, and secular societies. Sorry, man, it jumps around. I apologize. And secular societies follow mostly Christian morals. Again, that's actually incorrect. Christian morals follow secular societies rules more technically. As I mentioned, you ripped off all the good things from ours. Otherwise, the whole thou shalt not kill thing just kind of really. And then the Flockmeister, Flocky says, somebody in my thing says Mo was illiterate. He wrote nothing. That's my understanding as well. Muhammad was illiterate. I don't know how that's a flex. Christianity is like a kit with a lot of parts, says Flockmaster, that don't fit, and very confusing instructions. You have to guess what to use and what to pitch. Thank you all for the super chats. And we also got some new subscribers, my friends. Thank you all for bearing with me as I switch back to like I say, Monday and Thursdays, Ryan will be here. Tuesdays, Kelly will be here as long as Kelly feels up to it. And then Wednesdays and Fridays, I'll probably be by myself for as long as I feel like it. And I don't know if I'm going to keep taking calls or not. I don't know. I'll reach out to my friends, which is you guys, and we'll talk about it. Some people like it, some people don't like it. I just think it sucks the joy out of it. For me, anyway. I don't like arguing with people, especially they don't listen. They don't care. They don't want to know. It's cognitive dissonance. I mean, it's like, dude, really? Remember that? Oh, man, that other guy the other day? Oh, the Catholic? Oh, shit. Never mind, my friends. Let me end this with the post-mortem baptismal kits, because I've been kind of light on you guys. And we will see you tomorrow for Thursday.
Do you have a loved one who's on their deathbed, but they've yet to give themselves up to the Lord?
Are you sure you don't want to come to Jesus?
No.
This is your final chance.
No. Worried they're headed to the fiery pits of hell.
Your very last chance.
No. I've been wicked and sinful. I deserve to burn in the hot place.
As you wish. Farewell, my heathen husband.
Farewell, my...
Well, fear not, my wayward child. Introducing Father Flanagan's line of post-mortem baptismal kits. No more worries about being miserable alone forever. Be a good Christian and share that eternal pain and suffering with the ones you love.
I'm in hell. Not as hot as I thought it'd be. Kind of feels like Houston, minus the humidity. Hello. My favorite drink crafted to perfection. Ooh, and some dank ass weed.
I can't bear to be down on my face chanting, holy, holy, holy is the Lord, every day, all day, for all eternity, by myself.
Wow, is that George Carlin? And Alan Turing, look at that. Carl say, oh, I am so honored. You've been my hero since I was a kid. Neil deGrasse Tyson, what are you doing here? Oh, I get it. I get it. Schrodinger's heathen. Very cute, you. Very cute. That's fantastic. Oh, what is that? What is... It's holy water. Oh, it burns. No, this isn't where I want to be. Pabst Blue Ribbon and a Marlboro? No!
Father Flanagan's post-mortem baptismal kit. Dead kid tested, Mother Teresa approved.
Is that the Pope and John Paul? Jim Jones and Jimmy Swaggart, huh? I can see that coming. Neil deGrasse, what are you doing? Holy, holy, holy is the Lord. Holy, holy, holy is the Lord.
Thanks, Father Flanagan.
Damn them to an eternity in heaven for only $59.99. They wouldn't appreciate it, but you'll feel better, and that's the point, isn't it? Get yours now. Your heathen loved one's time is running out.
Holy, holy, holy is the Lord. This is some bullshit. Holy, holy, holy is the Lord.
All right. Sin safely, my friends. Take care.
Got a house that smells like old cheese and shame. Father Flanagan's flesh candles change the game. Goat-scented thrills for your soul's delight. Light it up, baby, make your room right. When you've sinned and need to atone, light a candle and avoid the stone. Smell the goat in a holy zone. Father Flanagan, here to set the tone. Confession booth, busy, no need to stress. Light a candle and forget your mess. Gross odors vanish like sins in the wind. With each wick, guess who's your new best friend? When you've sinned and need to atone, light a candle and avoid the stone. Smell the goat in a holy zone. Father Flanagan, here to set the tone. Lambs and calves may have their day, but goat's the scent that leads the way. Clean your slate with a sniff so pure. Father Flanagan's got the cure. Turn your home into a saintly space. With every whiff, find